everyone. Hope you all had a great weekend. As for me, it was another busy one, but it is Monday, which means spooky places. And this week we shall visit a few places in Mississippi. And the first stop is the Cold Spring Plantation in Prickneyville, Mississippi. Dr. John Carmichael came to Prickneyville in the late 1790s and founded the plantation and began construction on a house. Carmichael's favorite part of the house was the wine cellar. He was a man who loved to drink, and he collected fine wines and shared them with his friends on a regular basis. The old army surgeon even moved a rocking chair into the cellar and placed it in front of the huge wooden wine casks. He would sit there and rock contentedly, sipping wine and admiring his collection. Before his death, Carmichael made some unusual arrangements for his funeral. His instructions were that he wanted to be laid to rest by his friends. These friends, he wrote in his will, were to place his coffin in the wine cellar, and then they were to consume every drop of wine in the cellar before they buried him. At his death, the doctors carried out his wishes. They assembled at Cold Spring and placed the doctor's body in the cellar. Then they started drinking. The next 2 days vanished into oblivion, and when the men began to sober up, they began trying to recall the details of the drunken funeral. To their dismay, they realized that they could not remember where they had buried Carmichael's body. It was later the body of Dr. Carmichael was exhumed and taken to Woodville for a proper burial. Even that journey was a strange one. The coffin fell from the wagon maybe half a dozen times, and the absence of it was not noticed before the men had traveled a half a mile or so. Makes me wonder if the wine had been left over after the first funeral after all. Even though the body of Dr. Carmichael was properly buried, it seems that he may not rest in peace. Many believe that he still comes back to visit the wine cellar today. It is said that sometimes the unmistakable sound of a rocking chair can be heard slowly swaying back and forth in the cellar. We now move on to Natchez under the Hill in Natchez, Mississippi. It is an old area of the city located along the riverbank, and it is home to several ghosts from the 1700s and 1800s. One apparition is that of a man in a military uniform. He is thought to be an American spy who gave secrets to the Spanish when they ruled the territory. The ghosts of several Spanish soldiers are also seen nearby. Another outlaw who haunts the area is that of John Murrell, who stole and resold slaves in the early 1800s. Sometimes he would sell the same slave over and over again until the slave was recognized. Then, because he could do no more good, Murrell would kill them. In 1835, rumors spread that Murrell was organizing a slave rebellion in New Orleans and was later lynched by an angry mob. We now move on to the King's Tavern in Natchez, Mississippi. Over the years, literally hundreds of employees and guests have encountered a ghost named Madeline there. The building was constructed in the 1760s and became a tavern in 1789. When it was purchased by Richard King, Madeline was his mistress and a serving girl in the tavern. She was said to be a happy and mischievous girl, and apparently the ghost followed suit. No one knows whatever became of her, but in the 1930s, 3 mummified bodies were found beneath the floor of the tavern cellar. 2 of them were men, and the third was a young girl, thought to be Madeline. A jeweled dagger was found next to her body. And the last stop is Linden in Natchez, Mississippi. This mansion has been in the Connor family since 1790, and even has a family ghost haunting it. The sounds of a horse-drawn buggy pulling into the front driveway and the tapping of an invisible cane in the west gallery are still heard today. ghost of a man wearing a top hat has appeared in one of the children's bedrooms many times, and there has even been an apparition of a woman reported on the roof of the East Wing. She has been seen jumping off of the edge of the roof, but she always vanishes before she hits the ground. Well, I hope you enjoyed the tales for this week, my friends, and wishing you all a spooky night.